grew up out in the Auburn community, right around Lake Flamingo, before there was a Lake Flamingo. And I went to Hughes Chapel Baptist Church, which was on Hughes Chapel Road. We didn't have numbers back then, we had names for the roads. But I grew up there, and I had a good childhood. We had a lot of chores that we had to do. My mother, she worked in a factory, and my dad, he truck farmed and cut firewood and pulpwood. I had to help with that. It was hard work, but we also had a lot of love, and he taught me how to hunt and how to fish, and I just had a fantastic childhood. Back then, a lot of times, if we didn't either grow it, kill it, or catch it, we didn't have it. That's what we set the table with a lot of times. Yeah. Like I said, we was pretty poor. We didn't have a whole lot, and a lot of the clothes that I wore to school was hand-me-downs, and some of them weren't in that good shape. And a lot of the kids would make fun of me, and you know, that sort of made me sad to start with, and then that turned to anger. And when they would start making fun of me, I'd start punching them in the nose. I'd say in my middle 20s, I played food for 6.5 years for a living.
Yeah. What led you to facing criminal drug charges?
Well, too, with the crowd that I was running with, I would take an occasional drink, just more or less to be sociable. And, you know, I would smoke some pot, and I'd take some speed sometimes. And back then, it was black RJS's was the going thing. And I would take that, but I never was heavy into any of it. But I saw there was a lot of money to be made quick. So I bought a couple of ounces, and I busted them up, and I sold them, and I made some good money off of it. So then I graduated to where I was buying pounds at a time and busting it up and dealing.
That was marijuana?
But that was marijuana. And of course, I dealt with some pills, some Valium, some Loratabs, and some of the black RJS's. That's what I was dealing. But that was all the stuff that I dealt. But there was good money to be made in it, and that was quick, easy money, and that's what attracted me. The good Lord just gave me a good slap in the face one day, because they'd been trying to catch me dealing for a while. They'd come out and they'd search my place, they'd search my vehicles, and they never did find nothing. I thought I was too smart for them. I thought I never would get caught. I didn't think they were smart enough to catch me. But one night they did. And I was facing 60 years, 30 for interstate trafficking, 30 for possession with intent. And back in them days, they was tough. They was tough on stuff like that. And at any rate, I had a friend of mine that was a lawyer, and I went to him. I didn't think nothing was going to happen much. I spent about 2 weeks in jail, but I didn't think nothing was going to happen much because I had a clean record up to then. But my lawyer, he had connections and friends in high places and all, and he was a buddy of mine. Matter of fact, he gambled some with me. And he called me up about a week later, and he told me, I said, John, I've called everybody I know, I've pulled every string I can pull, and they want you bad. You're going to do some time. There ain't nothing I can do about it. He said, you're going to have to do some time. I said, well, let's get it over with then if I'm going to have to. And so we got a court date. We went to court. My lawyer went up there, and then Jack Shirley was the sheriff, and Buddy Edmond and Harold Ray Presley was the narcotics people. They the ones that busted me, along with them about 10 others. And they went up and they wanted it postponed. Well, naturally, the judge postponed it because they had to. And then they followed me out to my car and asked me, said, are you ready to get over this, get over it, where you can move on with your life? I said, in no time? I said, yeah, that sounds good to me. What have I got to do? And I had a really nice car that they confiscated. I said, you sign the title of that car over and you pay recreation, and we'll guarantee you probation. I said, all right, that sounds good to me. I said, well, you come by the jailhouse, and you bring the cash money and sign the title of that car. I told him, no, I don't trust y'all. I don't trust the system. I said, the way it's going to work if I do this is when the judge tells me I can go home with no time, then I'll give you the money and I'll sign the car over.
Right.
So they agreed to that. And they give me 7 years probation. So when I left the courthouse, I went and I signed the title, and I had to pay every time I went to see her. So that was a good slap in the face for me, right there. And then I quit fooling with the drugs totally. But I still went back to the Lord. And then I met this woman, and we got together and we got married. After that, my family kept on after me to go to church, go back to church, get back in church. And I finally gave in and went. It was just to get them off my back, mostly. But then the Holy Spirit got to dealing with me. So I went back the next Sunday. And then in a few Sundays after that, I was going back, I was going every Sunday. But a few Sundays after that, the Holy Spirit got on me so bad that I went up and rededicated my life. And then, I'd say a year and a half after that, I was called to preach. I run from it for 2 years. And then the Holy Spirit got on me one Sunday morning, and I couldn't fight it no more. You know, I had doubts, because people will hold your past against you. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I wasn't worthy, I wasn't good enough. But little did I know that God wanted me to, and that He made me good enough. And so after that, I started a youth church. I went to Kingsley Chapel. Brother Horace Barnes was a pastor. And I started a youth church over there. And we had, me and my wife, we had the youth. And it's supposed to have been once a month starting out with it. We'd meet on Friday nights. It ended up that it was 2 or 3 times a month. And we had a bunch of kids coming in, teenagers. I had a pontoon boat. We'd take them out on it. And we was just living a really good life. And then my wife fell out of the barn, and she got her leg busted up, her foot, her back, her neck, and they put her on pain pills. And I guess she got addicted to them, I don't know. And then her son, he would take anything he could get a hold of. So he started getting her some marijuana. She said that would help her with her pain. And she started dabbing with that, and then she just lost her mind. She would see demons and minions, as she called them. One night we was in bed, and she woke me up, and she was hollering and screaming across the room and throwing stuff off her nightstand at the doorway of the kitchen, hollering, "There's the devil. The devil's right there. Don't you see him?" And I said, "No, I don't see anything." And she said, "The devil's after us. He's after my family." And she was cussing and throwing stuff. And I told her, "Well, the only power the devil has over us is what we give him. So just lay down and go back to sleep." And anyhow, she went worse. She got worse and worse. That lasted for about 2 years. And then the next morning, about 6 o'clock, I got a call, and I believe the lady's name was Carolyn Green. She was a coroner, and told me that they had Nina Lyles up there, and she was deceased. I needed to come up there to the hospital. So I sat there for a little bit, waking up, and I thought, I must have dreamed that or something. So I called back, and she said, "No, you didn't dream it." Said, "It actually happened. She's deceased." So I called her sister, which lives next door to me, Sheila, and me and her went up there. Sheila asked, just as soon as we walked in, about seeing the body. She said, "You don't want to see the body. Y'all don't want to go back there. You don't need to see the body." And what had happened is she had got hit, her car had got hit by a train up there in Myrtle. So we didn't see the body. And after that, I just sort of walked away from the Lord again, turned my back on him. I mean, it was just tough, depressed, and and I just felt worthless because there wasn't nothing I could do about it.
What does your life look like after that?
Well, after that, like I said, I was gambling again, and it took me a little bit, but I got good at it again, and I gambled for a lot of money on the pool tables, a lot of money, and I made good money. And then one night, I beat everybody at the American Legion up there at Baldwin, and then everybody quit gambling. It was gambling and the band was playing in the back, and I walked back there to, tell some of my buddies that I was leaving. A lady come up and started talking to me, and she asked, "I'm gonna play some pool." I said, "Yeah, there's a table open up front that we've been playing on if you want to play." So she come up there and we played some pool. I got her number. We started texting and talking, and then before long we got together and we got married. We got to go to different churches around, and now then we went to a bunch of churches, but we really wasn't satisfied with them. But I can tell you this, when we come in here to Beech Springs, that first Sunday, I felt like I was home. So that's why we're here. And the good Lord gave me a new family. He gave me a new start. He gave me a reason for living, which before I wasn't living. I was just going through the motions. But now I've got a fantastic wife, family, life. Everything is good, and it's all because of Jesus Christ.
God has helped John to overcome a gambling addiction and a life of dealing drugs, and he helped him through unbearable grief, and today John lives with purpose. If you're lost today and you feel like you have nowhere to turn, there's hope in Jesus Christ. Just come to him and talk to him and reach out, because he will help you. If you would like to be a guest on our show, email angelwaterrecoveryministry@gmail.com, or you can reach us on Facebook at Angel Water Recovery Ministries Blue Springs. Never give up unless you're giving it to God.